I kind of already made a video like this back in May about some other cars in the game, or other vehicles in the game actually. And there's like hundreds of vehicles in the game to make this video about. This video could be like an hour long, but I'm gonna make it as short as possible. That being more forgotten vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. You know, this is kind of like, I don't have a title for this yet, so maybe we'll have some crazy title for this video. But let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Now, one of the forgotten cars that's actually really unfortunate that came out in recent years actually would have to be the Ignis. Now, I love this car. This car looks really nice, has really good modifications, okay performance, not really nothing to write home about. It was actually more or less overshadowed by the other cars that came out with Contract DLC, because those other cars had a Monitech to them. And the Ignis is somewhat relevant on the expanded and enhanced versions, that being the Xbox Series S and PS5 version of GTA 5. That's because of the weaponized Ignis that came out with those versions of the game. But unfortunately, the weaponized Ignis is not on last gen or PC. So the Ignis is pretty irrelevant, unfortunately. And to me, it's probably one of my favorite cars I own. And I just think it's really unfortunate that irrelevant now, honestly. Up next on the list will have to be the Entity MT. Now, when this car was first revealed for the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC, everybody is pretty excited for it. Everybody loves Colonseg, and we were expecting a really unique vehicle. It has okay modifications, but once you get down to the performance, you kind of realize it's a reskin of the Entity XXR that came out a few years ago, and we all just sort of dropped it. It's literally a reskin. Like it's like scale. It's like 1-to-1 scale when it comes to driving. Like when you're driving an Entity MT and you're driving an Entity XXR, it's the same vehicle. There's no real differences. I only bought it just to buy it because it's new and buyer impulse, and I just needed something to customize. It looks cool the way I customize it, but honestly, ever since the day I bought it, I rarely bring it out of the garage. Next on the list, another vehicle that came out with the Drug Wars DLC, that being the Panthera. Now, the Panthera came out during the Drug Wars DLC. Now, like I said, the Panthera came out with the Drug Wars DLC, and it was quickly overshadowed by the Virtue due to the fact that the Virtue has the Monitech and it's super fast acceleration because it's an electric vehicle. And not only that, but the Virtue you can get for free just doing the last dose missions. With the Panthera, you gotta cough up at least I think it's like $1.8 million to get it. It has good customizations, it's really fun to drive. I have no real complaints about it performance-wise, and it's a really nice looking car. It's just the fact that it doesn't really come with Monitech, and I don't even think the Panthera is actually top 10 of its class for racing actually. So that kind of explains why it kind of became irrelevant so quickly. Up next on the list, you can apply this to any JDM vehicle that came out before Tuner's update, but I would say this would especially be the case for the Kanjo. Now, the Kanjo is based off a Honda Civic hatchback, but this is when there wasn't really a lot of JDM vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. And then when Tuners came out, a lot of the JDM vehicles had become irrelevant, like I said. But the Kanjo has got buried, honestly. Especially when the Kanjo SJ came out back in 2022. Everybody just chose the Kanjo SJ over the regular Kanjo because everyone wanted the coupe version of the Civic instead of the hatchback version. And it sort of just got buried. And it's pretty sad to see, honestly. It's still one of my favorite JDM cars I own in the game. Honestly, there's just so many better options in the JDM subclass, honestly. Last on the list would have to be the Dominator GTX. Considering it came out in 2018, 5 years ago, it doesn't look close to its real-life variant like newer cars that have came out in the past few years. So the Dominator GTX is supposed to be primarily based off of the newer model of the Ford Mustang GT, and it's sort of like a mix between a Mustang and a Charger and a Camaro, and it just doesn't really translate that well in the game. And it's actually one of the slowest muscle cars in the game. In fact, the regular Dominator that came out in 2013, that's only $30,000, it's actually faster than this, and this costs $700,000. But I will say, at the very least, the Dominator GTX has a lot of good customizations for it. But it just kind of sucks that it just doesn't drive like a muscle car. You can't even pop a wheelie with this. Like, as you can see here, I'm trying to pop a wheelie with the Dominator GTX, and it barely lifts off the ground. It's really unfortunate, really. But I do like the customizations. I do think it looks good, but it doesn't look exactly like its real-life counterpart, like a lot of the newer vehicles. Like, for example, the Dominator ASP looks pretty much identical to its real-life variant. But the Dominator GTX just doesn't look like its real-life variant. Hopefully, in a future update, the Dominator GTX gets some sort of, like, Benny's treatment, where you can convert it to make it look like it's real life variant. But yeah, unfortunately, this car had a lot of potential to be a good car in the game, and it just really wasn't. Now, that's my short list of cars that have been forgotten in Grand Theft Auto Online. Let me know down in the comment section below if you guys think of any other vehicles that have been forgotten past 10 years. If you guys did go on enjoy this video, like and comment would be appreciated. Subscribe new to the channel. And yeah, with all that out of the way, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.